A group of bipartisan senators are asking the Inter-American Commission on Human Rights to release details about the investigation of Oswaldo Paya's murder.
Reporter Claudia Morales from our D.C. Bureau is in Washington this morning.
I'm outside the Cuban embassy, and this street that you see behind me could be renamed Oswaldo Paya Way to honor the memory of this Cuban political reformer. The legislation introduced by a group of bipartisan senators in June last year aims approval to rename the street after Oswaldo Paya, a Cuban civic leader and democracy activist who was killed in a car crash orchestrated by the Cuban government in 2012. According to Republican Senator Ted Cruz, this could send a powerful message to the Cuban dictatorship and the world.
Members of the Cuban government who deal with the embassy will have to acknowledge that Paya existed and that this hero who was wrongfully murdered was real. They will have to say his name.
At a young age, Paya manifested his opposition to the Castro dictatorship and was forced to work in a labor camp. Despite the constant intimidation and harassment from the Cuban regime, Paya led the Varela Project, a referendum that promoted democracy and freedom of speech and religion. He collected approximately 25,000 signatures of Cuban citizens that wanted a change of government in the island.
The world have been exposed to the Cuban communist propaganda, but not so to the Cuban reality. They know about the Che Guevara and Fidel Castro. They know about the killers of the Cuban people, but they do not know about the heroes of the Cuban people. And this renaming is going to be a very clear statement of what the Cuban people want, which is freedom.
On a letter sent to the Secretary of the Inter-American Commission on Human Rights, the senators urged the organization to release the details of Paya's murder. After a battle of almost 10 years, Oswaldo Paya families hopes that the Inter-American Commission on Human Rights will finally publish the report. In Washington, D.C., I'm Claudia Morales for the South Florida Media Network.